You know how we always picture Keanu Reeves as the tough guy who can handle absolutely anything? The man has been through explosions on screen, car chases, crazy shootouts, and fight scenes that would leave most people in the hospital. He survived it all on screen and somehow looked cooler every single time. That's the Keanu Reeves we all know, right? The unstoppable action star who just keeps going. But here's the twist most people don't expect. His most recent injury, and I'm talking about a pretty serious one, didn't come from one of those intense action movies. Nope. It came from a comedy. I know, it sounds unbelievable. You'd think the most dangerous part of a comedy set might be someone slipping on a banana peel, right? But for Keanu, this one turned out very different. And honestly, it makes you think. Have you ever had one of those days where you expected something to be easy, and it ended up being the very thing that knocked you down? Maybe you were carrying groceries and thought, this is nothing, only to trip over the last step. Or you went out for a light jog and ended up sore for a week. That's exactly the kind of irony Keanu just lived through. He went in for what should have been a fun, light-hearted project, and instead he walked away hurt. So let me tell you how this all went down. Keanu was filming his new comedy movie called Good Fortune. It's directed by Aziz Ansari, and the cast is amazing. You've got Keanu, Seth Rogen, and Keke Palmer all in one movie. Just from that lineup, you can already tell it's supposed to be fun. Nothing explosive, nothing life-threatening, just good laughs and maybe some silly physical comedy here and there. But here's where it gets interesting. Keanu doesn't know how to go halfway. That's not who he is. He's the kind of actor who shows up to every role, no matter how small or silly it looks, and gives it everything. Whether he's dodging bullets in the Matrix or cracking jokes in a comedy, he's all in. And that's where things started to go sideways. Now, during one scene, this wasn't even some huge stunt, Keanu pushed himself just a little too hard. He moved the way only he does, with full intensity, full energy, as if the camera was rolling on John Wick all over again. And suddenly, he felt it. That sharp, painful pull that lets you know something is wrong. He ended up injuring a muscle, and it wasn't just a little twinge. It was bad enough that people on set noticed immediately. He tried to shake it off, because that's who Keanu is. He's the type who doesn't want attention, doesn't want people worrying. But the limp gave it away. He was hurting. Think about that for a second. Years and years of doing jaw, and the more you hear about it, the more you realize how serious it really was. The crew saw him struggling, and production had to adjust. This wasn't a tiny scrape or bruise. It was an injury serious enough to slow everything down for a bit. And if you know anything about Hollywood, you know that delaying a movie shoot costs a lot of money and time. So when they say it caused a pause, you know it wasn't just something he could walk off. But here's the thing I love about Keanu. He didn't want to make a scene out of it. He didn't go around blaming the movie, the scene, or even his age. He just quietly accepted that he'd gotten hurt and needed to take a step back. That's so Keanu. Humble, grounded, and not one to complain. And in a way, it makes the whole story even more interesting, because it shows that even someone as strong and experienced as him has limits. Now let's slow down for a second and really talk about why this happened. Because the truth is, it's not just about Keanu Reeves. It's not only about one actor getting hurt on one comedy set. This is actually something that happens on film sets all the time. You'd be surprised at how often it happens, and it almost always catches people off guard. See, when you think about big action movies, the ones with explosions, crazy fight scenes, car chases, and all that dangerous-looking stuff, you'd think that's where most accidents happen. But here's the twist, those huge movies, the ones with massive budgets, are actually the safest in many ways. Why? Because they have the resources. They've got stunt doubles trained for every single kind of fall, crash, or punch. They've got entire teams of people whose job is to check every move, every angle, and every piece of equipment before anyone even steps on set. And, of course, they've got medical staff waiting just in case something goes wrong. So when Keanu was making movies like The Matrix or John Wick, as dangerous as they looked on screen, the safety nets behind the scenes were stronger than most people realize. Everything is carefully rehearsed. Every fall has padding. Every crash is controlled. Sure, it's still risky, but the odds of something going wrong are lower than you'd think because so much preparation goes into it. Now compare that to a comedy or a smaller project. Nobody expects danger there. When you're filming a scene that looks harmless, maybe a funny little trip, or sitting down hard on a couch, or running across a street for a gag, the mindset is different. The atmosphere feels lighter. Directors might not even call in stunt doubles for those scenes. They'll just say, "It's simple. Let the actor do it." And that's exactly where things can go wrong. Because here's the truth, it's not always the giant leap off a building that hurts someone. Sometimes, it's the little things. The small, repetitive motions that don't seem like a big deal at first. Maybe it's falling onto the same couch for the 10th time because the director wants a different shot. Or maybe it's running down the same hallway again and again, 15 takes in a row, because they need the timing to be perfect. It sounds easy, but do that enough times and your body starts to break down. Your muscles tighten. Your joints ache. And suddenly, what was supposed to be a harmless gag becomes the very thing that sidelines you. That's exactly what happened to Keanu. And we can't ignore another important piece here. Let's be honest, Keanu isn't in his 20s anymore. He's not even in his 30s or 40s. He's in his 60s now. And while, yes, he looks amazing, moves amazing, and probably works harder than people half his age, time has its own rules. No matter how healthy or strong you are, your body feels those years. Recovery is slower. A small injury takes longer to heal. And the risk of something pulling or straining is much higher. That doesn't mean Keanu shouldn't be doing movies anymore. Far from it. He's living proof that age doesn't have to stop you from doing what you love. But it does mean the way you approach things has to change a little. You can't just throw yourself into every scene like you're still 25. And yet, Keanu does exactly that. He gives 100% every single time. He pushes himself in a way that's inspiring. But at the same time, it's also risky. And his injury during Good Fortune is proof of just how fine that line really is. Here's something else you might not have thought about. Even in comedies, actors don't always have stunt doubles for the little stuff. A fall onto a couch? Nobody calls in a stunt professional for that. A quick run down the street? The actor just does it. Directors usually expect the cast to handle those simple moments themselves. And you know what? Most of the time, it's fine. But when you repeat those takes again and again, because movies are never one, and I don't know about you, but that makes me rethink how often I push through my own aches and pains. How often do you tell yourself, "It's fine, it's just a little sore, I'll keep going"? I've done that so many times. Maybe you have, too. Sometimes it's at the gym. Sometimes it's carrying groceries. Sometimes it's just sitting at a desk for hours, ignoring the way your back is screaming for a stretch. And what happens? The little problem gets bigger. The soreness turns into an injury. And suddenly, you're out of commission for way longer than if you had just stopped and taken care of yourself in the first place. That's really the heart of this whole story. Keanu's accident isn't just about a celebrity getting hurt. It's a reminder of something we all need to hear: self-care isn't optional. It's not a luxury. It's necessary. Your body will always tell you when something isn't right. You just have to listen. And when you think about it, the whole situation is kind of ironic. Here's Keanu Reeves, walking onto a comedy set. Probably expecting laughs, a lighter workload, maybe even a bit of fun compared to the intense action movies he's used to. Instead, what does he get? One of the more painful on-set experiences of his recent career. It's almost funny when you step back and look at it. Funny in that strange way life always seems to work. You brace yourself for the big things, the scary things, and hey, if you liked this one, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who loves Keanu Reeves as much as we do. Every like and comment helps the channel grow, and it lets me keep bringing you stories like this one. Because if there's one thing we can all take away from Keanu's story, it's this: life doesn't always play out the way we expect. Sometimes the big challenges aren't the ones we prepare for. They're not the explosions, the car crashes, or the giant fight scenes. Sometimes, the challenges are the small, simple moments, the ones that catch us off guard when we least expect it. And even in comedy, things can get a little too real. So yeah, Keanu got seriously hurt on a comedy set. But maybe, just maybe, that's the perfect reminder for all of us. Stay humble. Stay aware. And never underestimate the little things. Because sometimes, it's those little things that matter the most.